AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
That's right.
Hour 3 off. We go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt.
Shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Muso.
I'm a Barbie girl in the Barbie world.
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. Oh, by the way, it's a hump day.
It's hump day.
Mike. What day is it, Mike? Hump day.
Tell you what day it is.
It's hump day.
It's the day LSU needs to find a quarterback.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Could it be DeMond Williams?
Hump day.
We'll find out
It's hump day.
after the break.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
DeMond Williams leaving Washington.
Hump day.
Could it be LSU?
It's hump day.
Apparently there's other suitors getting in the mix.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Will he be able to play anywhere?
Hump day.
Got some thoughts.
It's hump day.
Sam Levitt's on his visit at Tennessee right now.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
That ship at LSU has sailed, brother.
Hump day.
Tigers got another portal commitment today.
It's hump day.
Talk about him in just a minute.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Gum smacking Mick out there doing deals.
Hump day.
Not really. He's just not answering anything at all.
It's hump day.
Kind of what he does.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Sits idly by, wastes drafts for 2 decades, and then tries to take credit when a new coach comes in and hits on a second-round quarterback.
Hump day.
You're not fooling anybody, Mick.
It's hump day.
We know you paid Derek Carr.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
We know you then restructured Derek Carr.
Hump day.
We know you spent 20 years putting the Saints in the worst cap situation in the NFL.
It's hump day.
We know you drafted Kyrie Fort.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
We know you drafted Andrew Tiller.
Hump day.
We know you drafted Charles Brown.
It's hump day.
We know you signed Jason David.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
None of us have forgotten that you signed Brandon Browner.
Hump day.
We all know that you went out there and you paid Jarris Bird.
It's hump day.
Yep. It's hump day, Mick.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
But with you, it feels like Groundhog Day.
Hump day.
How you like them apples? All right. Here we go. The gigantic story in college football right now, here on the eve of the college football playoff semifinals, as the portal continues to turn. It's this story going on with DeMond Williams. Most people, I'm sure, are familiar right now with this drama. So Sam Levitt was on LSU's campus. Looked like LSU was barreling toward a commit. On Tuesday night, news breaks, DeMond Williams plans to go into the portal. Levitt very quickly schedules a visit to Tennessee. He's there today. Leaves LSU without a deal. It feels like now that ship has sailed. LSU had the bird in hand with Sam Levitt. They decided to move on to DeMond Williams, but this is complicated now because Washington after Damon Williams 4 days ago signed his revenue share deal with the University of Washington. Washington says they're not letting him out of that deal. They're not submitting his paperwork to the portal. They don't want him leaving. But still, Washington is now hosting Bo Pribula on a transfer portal visit. The former Penn State, former Missouri quarterback Bo Pribula, and Damon Williams very likely could follow the path that we saw with Xavier Lucas just a year ago, where he missed the transfer portal window. He was at the university. He was at Wisconsin, and then ultimately ended up at Miami. He just said, forget about the portal, transferred to Miami, and walked onto the football team. And he's going to play for Miami in the college football playoff semifinal against Ole Miss on Thursday. So Damon Williams could very well follow that path. There is a report from NACOS that Miami, speaking of, is the other team that could be in the mix here for Damon Williams. When you look at who the other quarterback-needy teams are, Miami, Oregon kind of fit that mold, right? I mean, Oregon, if Dante Moore leaves, which I think we're all expecting he is, whenever Oregon season ends, we're expecting Moore will declare for the NFL draft. He's a projected top 5 pick. So it means Oregon's going to need a quarterback. And Dante Moore this year, was Dylan Gabriel a year ago. It was Bo Nix before that. And they've made a good living here in the portal hitting on these quarterbacks. Then similar for Miami. This year it's Carson Beck. A year ago it was Cam Ward. I mean, they're going that same route as well. So Damon Williams certainly is going to have a market for his services. LSU is going to be in that mix and very seemingly at the top of the list. His familiarity with Lane Kiffin, with Charlie Weiss, they recruited him out of high school, but where he lands remains to be seen. And the real concern for LSU is if you had the bird in hand with Sam Leavitt, you let him leave to turn your attention to Damon Williams, and you don't get Damon Williams, then what? Then you have a real conundrum on your hands. They're reacting to it up in Seattle as well. Joel Klatt of Fox Sports was on Brock and Salt. That's on Seattle Sports, and had this to say about Damon Williams getting out of there.
How can we be in a situation where contracts don't matter with coaches, with players, anybody? And I feel really bad for Washington in this scenario. I think Damon Williams is getting bad advice. And I think that there is major tampering going on, rampant in the entire sport. This is not specific to this case, but certainly in this case. And we desperately need a collectively bargained agreement. Because if we're not going to get federal legislation to help with guardrails and everything that we're dealing with in college football, then we need a collectively bargained agreement so that we can prevent things like this. When's the last time you ever heard of anything like this?
Literally last year. I mean, literally last year, Xavier Lucas did the exact same thing. That's one of the things that does surprise me. Is like there's fans on Twitter who don't know that, and they flood my mentions, and it's excusable. It's inexcusable for someone like Joel Klatt, who covers the sport nationally, to not know that. But a few things he said. He said, "How have we got to the point where contracts don't matter?" Well, of course they do, and contracts are enforceable. But you just are in an era where schools are willing to pay the penalty of contracts. It's punitive, but they're willing to. Coaches' contracts are still enforceable. There's a buyout clause of the contract. That's the language that schools put into these contracts years ago to protect themselves, and then coaches also likewise if they get fired. So they get paid. That's what mitigates the risk. If you're a coach and you leave your job where you're having success for another job, like the dangling carrot, the benefit of you leaving is that buyout. You're going to get paid. And so it's no different here. That's what's confusing, how people don't understand this. All of these deals, like every NIL attorney I've talked to, every attorney, every agent that's done any of these types of deals, they all have buyout language in them that are protections. Even like in high school NIL. If LSU did, I told you this, like LSU did high school NIL deals with players from the state of Louisiana, guys like Lamar Brown and Richard Anderson. When those guys got paid while they were in high school from the collective, because that's legal. But all of those deals had verbiage in it whereby if they flipped, they had to refund the money. Well, that's a clause that is adhering to the contract. That's honoring the contract. That verbiage is in the contract. He also said Damon Williams getting bad advice. I don't know that I agree with him there, because Ross Dellinger has reported that Damon Williams had an offer of $4 million. A lot of you have asked today, apparently there's this number floating out there about $6 million from LSU for Damon Williams. I haven't seen a soul, not a single credible soul, report that. However, it is logical to think if Damon Williams had a $4 million offer at Washington that he signed, and he was willing to walk away from that, in his social media post, he said, to do what's best for me. Suffice to say that number is going to be bigger than $4 million, and significantly bigger, whatever that may be. Is it 5? Is it 5.5? Is it 6? I don't know what that number is, but if I do find out, I'll tell you. I mean, I've been very transparent with numbers as I've gotten them throughout the NIL era. So I don't know that he's getting bad advice, because he's playing a great offense in the SEC and make more money. Well, that seems like really good advice. The tampering comment there, everyone's doing it. And if you're going to say, hey, well, like, what if everyone is stealing? Is that okay? I'm not saying it, because I don't think it's a bad thing. You have a system that allows it because it's unenforceable. So it's like speeding. Everybody speeds. I'm going to go home tonight. I'm going to speed. I'm going to go above the posted speed limit. And if you get me, you got me. Give me my ticket. But it don't mean the next time I'm in my car, I'm still going to speed. Next time I'm in my car. We all do it. So, whatever. The CBA component of it is maybe the most interesting part of what Klatt said there. And it's not a new thought. But to have a collectively bargained agreement, you have to have a union for these players. And that would mean they're employees. And I don't know how we get to that point. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it feels like that will take federal legislation. And the courts for decades have refused to get involved in that. So something transformative would have to happen. Listen, if they ultimately decide that these student athletes are employees and they get health insurance and all this, retirement, and it's all collectively bargained, okay, fine. I don't care. I mean, I do. I want what's best for all parties involved. But for everyone who throws their hands in the air and complains about this and how it's ruining the sport and all that sort of stuff, I just don't believe you're being sincere. It's just an echo chamber. It's just pablum. It's just spittle that you're throwing out there. Because you know what you're going to do tomorrow? Every one of you. Like, if you're listening to or watching right now, by the nature of the fact that you are in your free time or choosing to listen to or watch a show talking about sports, that means you will be watching Miami and Ole Miss tomorrow. 100%. And the next day, you're going to be watching Oregon and Indiana 100%. Despite all the stuff that you claim to hate, it's not going to stop you from watching the game because the product is still awesome. How the sausage is being made, it's always sucked in college sports. We just see it now. I mean, people always bring up, man, the Pony Express, right? Or the Pony XS. Like Eric Dickerson with his Trans Am. You don't go throughout the years? I mean, the reason LSU doesn't claim their 1908 national championship is because of claims that the student athletes weren't amateurs, that they had taken money. Now, it was later proved to not be the case, and they were still awarded the national championship. LSU just doesn't claim it. 1908, man. It's more than 100 years ago. It's always been the case. We just see it front and center now. So if you don't like it, don't pay attention to that part of it. Just show up on Saturday and watch the games. It's still inexcusable for Joel Klatt literally not to know that this exact same thing happened with a player that is literally going to be playing in a game tomorrow, or I guess tomorrow in the Fiesta Bowl in the college football playoff semifinal. Stay hot, Klatt. Okay. Quick break at SAFR.
After further review.
We're brought to you by Goodwood, title sponsor of our Monday shows. Hey, I want to remind you, new year, New Year's resolution, maybe lose weight, get in shape, feel your best, all that stuff. Very most popular New Year's resolution, lose weight. Remember, at Goodwood, it's part of a three-pronged business unit there. There's Goodwood, which is the men's clinic, Unique Physique, which is the GLP-1s, and then Unique Aesthetics and Wellness. Well, remember, they have semaglutide, tirzepatide at Unique Physique. Lowest prices, never need contracts. Do the whole thing over telemeds. You don't even have to go into the office if you don't want. They can ship your medicine anywhere in the country. So check them out at uniquephysique.com, uniquephysique.com. Or if you're interested in hormone replacement therapy, like I talk about all the time, men, Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, women, HRT, Unique Aesthetics and Wellness. If it's easier, just go to Goodwood and let that be your launching point for all of their services. It's yourgoodwood.com. Want to look and feel your best in 2026? Yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Got an update on a few former Tigers that have new destinations. I really encourage you, if you haven't done this yet, and I know a lot of you have because I see our numbers for the website over at louisianasports.net, louisianasports.net. We have the roster tracker, which is posted right there on the homepage. If you go to louisianasports.net, you'll see it right there under the top stories. There's the roster tracker. I know I've mentioned it before, but you probably should go bookmark this. It's got the LSU players that have announced they're staying. Notably, by the way, Jaden Breaker, who had previously announced he was entering the portal. He's done an about face. They've reached a deal. Jaden Breaker is coming back to LSU for his second season. Then we got the players who have entered the portal, and then an update on those guys and where, when they've committed, where they're going. Notably today, Michael Van Buren has picked South Florida. So the former Mississippi State Bulldog, now former LSU Tiger, will have his third school in as many years. He'll be down in Tampa. Of course, Brian Hartline, the Ohio State offensive coordinator when Ohio State's run is over, he'll be down in Tampa as the new head coach at South Florida, replacing Alex Golish, who's the new head coach at Auburn, and he'll have Michael Van Buren there with him with 2 years as a starting quarterback in the SEC. There's a pair of now former LSU offensive linemen who have picked Texas A&M. Tyree Adams and Cohen Eccles are both headed to the Aggies. Interestingly enough, Wilkin Formby, the now former right tackle from Alabama, has also today committed to Texas A&M, which I can't help but think. Look, well, first of all, some of you've asked, like, what's up with these guys going into the SEC? Like Carius Kern's going to Ole Miss. Well, a few things. Number one, this is a point that Shea Dixon has made for years here on the show. And every Tuesday we visit with Shea from On 3, and we talk recruiting. And Shea has said, and I don't know that it made a lot of sense, but sometimes you have to see it transpire to believe and understand it. One of the lines Shea has used for years is, it's never been more valuable finishing second in recruiting, because overwhelmingly, a lot of these guys are going to end up in the portal, and if you already have that relationship and familiarity, it's going to benefit you. Well, like, you're seeing that. Remember, Cohen Eccles was a Texas A&M commit who flipped to LSU. Well, he goes in the portal. Where does he land? A&M. So that part of it, I think, is really significant. Then you also obviously have familiarity. Tyree Adams, Cohen Eccles, Carius Kern, all going to SEC schools. DJ Chester, by the way, is visiting Alabama. The other part of that, which will feel kind of, by the way, and Ori Williams. Ori Williams is, we need to update that on the tracker. I don't know if it's updated. Ori Williams is going to Tennessee. So, like, it's one of those things where it is important. The familiarity is important, but also you can't help but look at the offensive linemen who are getting these SEC offers and think about how the last year on the offensive line went for LSU and think, man, that feels like it was more scheme and development and coaching than it was necessarily the physical ability. Now, let's see how it plays out for these guys, right? I mean, Tyree Adams, Cohen Eccles, Ori Williams, Carius Kern, all these guys are going to SEC schools. Now, do they play? Do they ride the bench, hit the portal again? I don't know. But clearly, these schools see something in these players to keep them in the SEC, thinking they are SEC caliber linemen. And that's the part that that has always kind of given me pause because I look at it. Listen, you're going to miss in recruiting. That happens every school, every class. Sometimes you miss for whatever reason. You misevaluate. The player gets to campus, struggles to adjust to college life. It's really hard on the line as well because a lot of times you have dudes that are 300-pounders in high school, and there aren't many of those, right? So they throw around high school kids like a rag doll. They get to college. They got to fight fights with people their own size, and it just doesn't go as well. Like I give the example all the time. I was a high school offensive lineman. I played 6 foot 232. Like, put me up against a D1 defensive tackle, it wasn't going to go well. You know what I mean? A guy that's 6'4", 300. That's not gonna go well for your boy. So, but all these guys have physical ability. It'll be interesting to watch how they do at their new stop. And similarly, because everyone's asking, what is LSU doing here on the offensive line? Because what we've seen overwhelmingly is additions of skill players. When we look at LSU's commitments right now, and they got another one today in wide receiver Trey Wilson from Florida, who's another SEC guy, a really good player with familiarity with Lane Kiffin, and he with them. Jackson Harris, wide receiver. Racine Guillory, running back. Malachi Thomas, tight end. Trey Brown, wide receiver. Rod Gainey, running back. Jace Brown, wide receiver. Trey Wilson, wide receiver. I mean, you got 3 other commitments. Stephylan Green and Ty Benefield, 2 defensive players. And then Hayden Craig, the punter from Florida, committed today as well. So of your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, of your 10 commitments so far, 7 are skill guys. Now, I fully expect, and I've said this here, so this isn't a new thing reacting to the commitments right now. You are going to, and this is going to make sense, you are overwhelmingly going to have offensive commits compared to defensive commits because you return, like you lose some of your frontline guys defensively, but you return a lot defensively as well. And so you're going to have to add some players on the defensive line and maybe a linebacker. You've already added a safety, but you have to remake your entire offensive line. You have to remake your entire receiver room. You had 1 scholarship running back, so you're going to sign multiple running backs. You have no scholarship quarterbacks. You're going to add multiple quarterbacks. So it just stands to reason if you go sign 30 guys in the portal, 20 plus of them are going to be offensive players. You're going to have single-digit defensive guys. So I'm not surprised that there's a bunch of offensive guys. The thing we're all waiting to see, I think, is where are the offensive linemen? And so you look at all the visits, and again, we have another list here at LouisianaSports.net of the reported visits. So things that have been publicly reported of visitors coming to LSU. I mean, you look at the offensive linemen, Kapia Lincoln, offensive lineman Jacoby Jones, who's from Manny, started his career at Georgia Tech, went the JUCO route now, took a visit to LSU. Minnesota offensive tackle Kali Tafai, who was here a day ago as well. We reported that. I mean, that's 2. Henry Tabansi from Buffalo, one we reported over the weekend that LSU's interested in. That's 3. 3. Again, there's probably way more that just haven't been made public yet. One of the conversations I had with a staffer a day ago was so interesting because this person told me that, like, in a given day, they may have like 15 transfer portal guys roll through. Now, it's early still. When this first wave settles down, you get to the second wave, it'll slow for sure. But, we may hear of 3 or 4 in a given day, but there might be 15 in a day. It means there's a lot coming through there. It's a lot requiring a lot of manpower for LSU to host all these portal visits every day. But the point is, there's probably more offensive line visitors than even we're aware of right now. But they know that's got to be the emphasis. I'll still maintain you've got to retain Braylon Moore. He hasn't yet made his draft announcement. I was told over the weekend that they were finishing a contract with Braylon Moore and that it was trending toward him returning for his senior year. Now, maybe the portal being open has stalled that because all of the focus now has been on the portal guys coming in. But you retain Braylon Moore. Weston Davis is coming back, hopefully. His guy was a high force, was a top 50 player in the country. Hopefully he can take a step next year into year 3. And if you bring in 3 starters, well, you feel good. Got to make sure it's the right three, and it's what I was told all along. 2 guards and a tackle is what they were going to add starting players on the offensive line. And the other part of it, too, is like when we talk about the numbers, it used to be that you'd want 15 offensive linemen. It's just not like that anymore. Like, you're not building with 15 linemen to stay and develop because they don't stay. You had 6 going to the portal in this cycle. So it's more about finding the 6 or 7 that can play for you this year. Maybe 8 if you need the luxury of having like a swing player on the interior of your offensive line. But your 5 starters, a center, a backup guard, a backup tackle. You get those 8, you feel really good about your ability to go compete. Got to be the right ones, though. So I know that's what everybody wants to see are the linemen and how it's coming along there. But get a quarterback, load up your offensive line, see if you can land some of these premier defensive linemen that LSU's got visiting. All this is up at LouisianaSports.net. John Henry Daly, the Utah edge, set to visit LSU. Tennessee edge Jordan Ross, a former 5-star, set to visit. So the list is long and distinguished. LSU still in the mix for Penn State edge Chaz Coleman, who visited Penn State. But LSU still in the mix there. We'll see if they can land him. So Tigers, they got their line in the water for some big-time defensive line prospects. I know y'all want to see offensive linemen. As we learn more, we'll certainly share it with you. We're brought to you by Parrish Construction and Roofing, parrishbuilt.com, parrishbuilt.com. Do business with someone you know, Parrish Construction and Roofing. Hey, we are thrilled to be nominated in the Best of Baton Rouge over at Parrish Construction and Roofing. As a matter of fact, on our social media, we have a link there where if you would, you could click. It's on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and everywhere, LinkedIn, all the places. There's a link. If you'd go to it, I'd greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate it. It's on all of our social media at Parrish Built. You click the link, and it'll bring you right to the page where you can vote. You can do this in literally 10 seconds. But we just recently won Best of Ascension. We're thrilled for that honor. We'd love to win Best of Baton Rouge as well. So if you go to the Best of Baton Rouge, it's votebatonrouge.com, votebatonrouge.com, or go to any of our social. The link, the direct link to vote is right there. I mean, you can do it in seconds. We'd really appreciate it. Like, Paul, pull this up if you would. It takes you right to this page. It's the Parrish Construction Review. It's it's the page where you vote for Parrish, and you just hit submit ballot, and then you're done. So we'd appreciate it greatly. Parrishbuilt.com. Do business with someone you know. Parrish Construction and Roofing. Parrishbuilt.com. All right, it's after further review. We're not got a quick break here. Come back. Jimmy will be here in 15 minutes for Otter Locks. We appreciate you hanging out with us on this Hump Day edition of AFR presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. If you want to get an email, a tweet, a text, feel free to do it. You can text us 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. It's AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan, injury attorneys. You've been injured in an accident. It's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for decades. Get Gordon, get it done. As a matter of fact, I talked to Gordon earlier today. I invited him to come on the show. He's traveling today. But I wanted Gordon to come on and talk about the Damon Williams case from a legality standpoint, because I think there's few people that are positioned like he is, not only as a guy who's, well, an attorney, but also someone who's been so heavily invested in NIL deals and contracts, who's negotiated these and worked out these deals. He can tell us a lot. So look forward to having Gordon on the show maybe tomorrow, see if we can get a little more insight into how some of these contracts may be structured and look and work. But listen, Gordon's been a great friend and a great asset, not only to me personally, to us here on the show, but to all the communities that he serves in Louisiana. If you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault, do what injured people in our state have done for 3 decades. Go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Chris was saying that with Spencer Rattler, because he deserves another opportunity to start. Would you be open to moving him? Did he express an interest in being traded out of?
No, I mean, we're not anywhere in that. We haven't had any kind of discussions about that.
It was Mickey Loomis asked if they've given any thought to trading Spencer Rattler. Said no. Find that interesting because Kellen Moore was also asked if this year, in this offseason, they might bring in a veteran. I mean, considering your quarterback room right now it's Tyler Shough, Spencer Rattler, and I guess asterisk Taysom Hill. So would they consider bringing in a veteran?
We feel great about that room. You're always trying to raise the level of a room, trying to get better, trying to improve. I think one guy in that room that kind of lose sight is like Taysom was in that room the entire year. He's been in some of the best quarterback rooms in the entire NFL, and his leadership, what he brought to those guys, even when he's playing his role where he plays every other position, he brought an excellent form of leadership to those guys and experience that they were able to lean into.
Remains to be seen if Taysom Hill will be back for another year or if he's going to retire. When we talked about that question a lot in the offseason, so many times the answer was, well, Kellen Moore was a quarterback and Doug Nussmeier was a quarterback. And you've got guys on staff that were NFL quarterbacks. And so they feel like they have that box checked. And I can hear that argument. I'm not saying that's wrong, but I could also make the counterpoint, which is Drew Brees found value in his backup, always. I mean, for all the years we watched Drew Brees be the quarterback of the Saints, when he'd go to the sideline, he's sitting there looking, it was the flip chart of the pictures and then later the tablet. He always had the backup quarterback sitting next to him, and it was just a guy that he could bounce ideas off and get another set of eyes that he trusted. So whether it was a guy like Mark Brunell or Chase Daniel, there was always a guy that he trusted. Jameis later in the career. But if this is the path they go forward with Rattler, so be it. It's interesting, and it kind of stinks for Spencer because he's not going to have an opportunity to go win a job somewhere because he'll be the backup. But is that his path in life or his path in the NFL, which truthfully is probably what his path forward is. He's probably going to be a guy that's a backup quarterback in the NFL and probably a good one for a long time. But you look for what ceilings are, and you could very clearly differentiate between Rattler and Shough when they both had their opportunities, even with limited rosters. I mean, think about the conversation we had about Rattler a year ago. It was very hard to judge him because he was out there with a training camp a training camp roster. Well, so was Tyler Shough, and he elevated them, and they won games. I mean, it just shows you the difference between what a starting caliber player in the NFL looks like and what a backup looks like. One more, though, from Mickey Loomis, and this was interesting because, one of the things that when Derek Carr retired, there was a thought of maybe, do they go after a veteran? Do they make a trade? Do they try? Remember, we talked about it a lot. Do they try to bring Jameis back? Do they go after Kirk Cousins to make a deal? And because the Saints had sort of been in this perpetual win now mode, the idea of restarting never was appealing to them. But they were sort of forced into that with Carr's retirement. Here was Mick.
Well, the timeline didn't fit that. I think the veteran quarterbacks that, you would bring in and compete for your, the position were pretty much all gone. Yeah. By the time that all got settled out. So, yeah, we had some discussions about that, but the opportunity really didn't exist.
But remember, New York had three quarterbacks. I mean, they had Jameis, and they had Russ, and they had Jackson Dart. Similar with, after the draft especially, with Cleveland. You could have gone and tried to make a deal for Joe Flacco. There was a lot of options. You could have gone to try to make a deal, and they chose not to. And, having seen now the way Tyler Shough played throughout the final 2 months of the season, tons of reason for optimism moving forward. So just some thoughts there from Mickey Loomis and Kellen Moore on their season-ending wrap press conference here Wednesday in New Orleans. Hey, we're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. Man, I know I talk about him every day, and there's so many different things to talk about, from eye care, eyewear, and eye surgery. You can have your eye exam. You can get your prescription filled if you wear contacts or glasses. You can get your new frames, get your new contacts. And, of course, the refractive procedures. But so much of what I love telling you about with the Williamson Eye Center is Dr. Blake Williamson. You sit down and you have a meeting with him. You spend 10 minutes with him. Or if he does your refractive procedure, you'll understand why I'm so bullish on him. Not only is he a renowned world-class ophthalmologist, why he goes all over the world speaking and training at conventions and seminars, brings world-class, first-of-its-kind technologies to Baton Rouge. But he's outstanding at what he does just on a personal level, the bedside manner. I love he'll often call, during the procedure, he'll call it a vocal local, like local anesthesia, like the way that he speaks to you, keeps so calm during the procedure. He's excellent at what he does. I did my LASIK coming up on nearly a decade now. And whatever refractive issue you may have, if you want to ditch those contacts and glasses forever, you can trust Dr. Blake Williamson like I did over at the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020, 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com. Hey, one of the other questions that I've gotten a lot here throughout this hiring cycle is about Ed Orgeron and if Ed Orgeron might join the LSU staff. And the thing that I've said all along is that nobody at LSU has told me that. I've been asked a lot about it. There's been a lot of reports about Ed Orgeron, Arkansas and Oregon State and a lot of different spots, but Tulane. But that feels all agent-driven, and that's what good agents do is they get their client's name out there in the conversation for jobs. I just hadn't had anyone at LSU mention that as a realistic possibility to me. And Coach O is doing a lot of media now, and it's very clear like he wants to work again. He was doing an interview on Yahoo Sports and was asked about Lane Kiffin and working at LSU. Naturally, was very complimentary of Kiffin.
Well, I think they got the right guy in Lane Kiffin. Lane's a friend of mine. He's going to do a great job. I think Burge Osbury is going to do a great job. They have the right idea. For this transfer portal and NIL, he's the right guy. And I do believe that he's got some work to do. I think that the roster's not where it wants to be, but as he did at Ole Miss, he's going to put a championship team together. There's no doubt about it.
So I know Ed Orgeron has been hanging around Baton Rouge. I mean, a lot of people have seen him, and he's obviously a very, very public figure and very noteworthy and recognizable figure. So, and I, again, believe very much that he wants to work. His last buyout payment from LSU was in December, so about a month ago. And he spent this fall kind of getting back into coaching circles and conversations, and he has said on the record adamantly he's ready to coach again. That opportunity hasn't been there. Is it on LSU staff in some capacity? It certainly won't be as the defensive line coach, as they've hired Sterling Lucas, and we learned the terms of the contract today from Wilson Alexander, over $900,000 for Sterling Lucas. I mean, it's what it took to get him away from South Carolina. But I think Ed Orgeron is kind of just sitting by waiting on a call that hasn't come yet. It'll be interesting to see if and when it does, because as a recruiter and a defensive line coach, his resume is undeniable. Those are two things at which he is exceptional. It might take the right situation for the right spot, the right program to get him back in there as a position coach. Certainly, if the opportunity a head coach comes again for Coach O, it's probably at a lower classification. Certainly, I would doubt it in the FBS, but is there, or in the Power 4, maybe a G5 school or in the FCS? I think there could certainly be those possibilities. But one to watch, because I know people ask about it a lot. But Coach O did an interview with Yahoo Sports earlier today. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back, wrap it up. Jimmy will be here for Otter Locks. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
River City's 1 hour air, where they're always on time, or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. Spell it out, ONE, 1hourbr.com. 73 degrees in Baton Rouge right now at 5:45 p.m. on December the 7th. December the 7th. On January the 7th. Let's not go backwards. On January the 7th. But we're going to get cold snaps. Winter is upon us, and it'll rain, and we'll get colder weather like it's supposed to this weekend. If you got issues with your heater, make sure you call River City's 1 hour air. If you have not had your heater checked and you can't remember the last time you had your heater checked, call River City's 1 hour air. 752-0001, 752-001, or 1hourbr.com. They'll come out. They'll get your heater tuned up, cleaned, inspected to make sure it's safe and efficient for these cold weather months. River City's 1 hour air, 752-0001.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here. on a hump day edition of AFR presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. New year, want to look and feel your best. Hormone replacement therapy, tons of different peptide options as well. The GLP-1s over there, Unique Physique. Check them out, yourgoodwood.com. Okay, one thing left to do, find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Auto Locks.
Auto Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance AC Repair. Same-day service means you will never sleep hot. 480-1000. We are Total Maintenance.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
You, Otter, what's up, man?
Let's keep it going. A couple of profitable nights. Let's try and keep it going. It's like one of the craziest shooting stretches that I've ever seen that kind of killed our 4-1 night and turned it into a 3-2 night by Texas A&M. That was out of nowhere. That was out of nowhere. They scored like 45 points in like 7 minutes. It was unbelievable. Anyway, crazy ending there as well. Let's go to the ACC. Got 4 picks tonight in college hoops in Winston-Salem. This one is flipped, Matt. I still like it, but hopefully you got on it when we released it on the website. It was plus 1.5 when we put it on the website. Wake Forest is now minus 1.5 against Miami at home. So still recommend it at minus 1.5. Going to the SEC for the next one. A little strange trying to figure out, Chris Beard early. He just figured he would that great run to the Sweet 16 where they really blew it against Michigan State to advance to the Elite Eight. But he thought they'd build upon it. And, man, I love the French point guard that they got in, and it looked good early, but they have struggled. But I do think this is their home opener tonight. We're going to take the Rebels plus 3.5 at home tonight. Then back to the ACC for 2 more picks. One of the best teams in the country, man. The Virginia Cavaliers went to Raleigh and just ripped Will Wade and the NC State Wolfpack up by 20-something on Saturday morning, actually. We're going to go back. It's a big number at home. California, obviously, making that trip all the way from Berkeley. California is pretty doggone weak, one of the weaker teams in the ACC. We think Virginia's going to pour it on them pretty big here. Pay attention to this one because if they get up sort of in that 16-18 range, which I expect, you might want to hedge middle a little bit of it if they pull a lot of their starters. So you can, I think, I'm anticipating a middle opportunity in that one. Okay. Staying in the ACC, Clemson tonight at home, top 25 RPI teams. SMU coming off of an emotional win. They blasted North Carolina pretty good in Dallas on Saturday, about double digits, but kind of following it up. It worked for us last night. Team coming off an emotional win with Central Florida with their court storm. They had a court storm in Dallas as well. They go to Little John to take on Clemson. We're taking Clemson minus 3.5.
All right, Wake. That's flipped, so it's Wake now minus 1.5. Got Ole Miss, Virginia, and Clemson. The 4-pack of college basketball tonight. Where are you tomorrow? Go ahead.
We are. Yeah, and I suggest, to get the alert or whatever when it pops up when we first doing it because these basketball lines will move. But also listen to us at 5:50 because I'm adding, like I did last night when I added Oklahoma State. We'll do it as I kind of monitor the where the action's going. So just trying to do it, catch it on both ends.
Hunt usually
tomorrow at the original.
So I was going to say, Hunt usually gets the Auto Locks picks up sometime in the 3 o'clock Central Time hour. So you check LouisianaSports.net, you get in there early.
Yeah. He gets off the air at 3 and posts them within a half an hour or so. Yep. Usually when I'm on time. So
God bless. Where are you tomorrow?
We're at the original walk-on on Burbank in the shadows of Tiger Stadium.
Awesome. All right, Otter, we appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, good luck.
All right, thanks, man. I just got this word as we're heading out of here. LSU's gotten another commitment. The long snapper, Mulhern, who came in from Florida, has committed as well. So both of the Florida specialists committing with, forgive me, the punter earlier today, Hayden Craig, committed, and now I just got this text literally as Jimmy was talking there. The long snapper Mac Mulhern has committed as well. So loading up. Those were guys that had committed to Joe Houston at Florida as specialists. Now we're heading over to LSU. I know a lot of people are asking about Grant Chadwick with LSU taking a punter from Florida. What about Grant Chadwick? Chadwick is not officially in the transfer portal. What I had been heard, though, just sort of quietly through agent circles, was that his agent was shopping him. Again, like, I know everyone loves to throw out, tampering allegations. That's how everything is done quietly. But more recent, it sounds like Chadwick is staying. So I think you're probably going to have some competition there. So see if Grant Chadwick sticking around. Maybe you got a new punter coming in, or the lefty Hayden Craig, not only is punter but also place kicker. So we'll see. We'll talk plenty more about it. So, all right, it's going to do it for us here as we get on down the road. Muse, Paulie, thanks. Y'all have an awesome night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.